Good morning. I'm sitting in my car feeling a little bit dopey this morning, but I'm looking forward to going on a short, flat walk with you this week. We're parked by the River Ustwith in the woods at Trowscoid, which is the walk that I regularly take. I most regularly visit here. I think probably we've only been here twice so far in these video podcasts. And I'm excited today because all the rain we had last week that you will have heard during last week's work session will mean, I suspect, and I can just see it through the trees, that the river is going to be really high this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Let's go and have a look. I'm wearing my Wellington boots today. I was down here briefly on Sunday after the worst of the rain, and parts of the path were flooded. In fact, I could only walk so far and I had to stop. So I did wonder today how far I'd be able to get, but I've just been down to the riverside, and actually it's nowhere near as high as it was at the weekend, which in some ways was a little bit disappointing. There was a real energy here on Sunday. I mean, there were torrents flowing down the river, and it's the highest. Well, I think probably it's the highest I've ever seen it. I have been down here with the path being a little flooded, and I've been able to see that probably it's been flooded more than I'm seeing, or I was seeing at the time. But this time, the path was completely blocked. So we had to turn around and head back, which was probably quite a good thing because I wasn't really up to having much of a walk on Sunday. But today it's beautifully quiet, and whilst I'm not exactly brimming with energy, a slow stroll along the flat will probably be a very good thing. We have a private water supply, a well at home, and I do know that in the last 40 years it's never dried up. But this summer we were a little concerned because the water level was so low, which is probably why you might wonder why I'm often thinking about how high the river is, because I think it gives me an idea of how high the water table is, and therefore how much water there is in our well. So it was quite a relief on Sunday to see all this water gushing along. Anyway, I'm sure we're fine. We certainly got through the summer, and I suspect it was the longest, driest summer that the house has known, and if it managed to get by, if the water supply managed to get us by, I suspect it's fine. It's certainly fine by now. So that's why I'm a little obsessed with river height, in case you're wondering. But also, I love the sound of water. I wonder if you can hear that. So whilst it's not gushing as much as it was on Sunday, squirrel, it is still pretty fast. Now I suspect this tree, I saw this on Sunday, this tree must have come down in the storm. I did wonder actually how it's broken, whether it was lightning that struck it. I don't know. I suspect if it was lightning and it burnt, wouldn't it? But that's quite dramatic. It's the only tree I've seen down after this lot of storm, so that's good. I do feel at the moment that finally things are starting to really shift. I've talked a lot in these videos and in my audio podcast before it about this transition period that I feel like I'm in, or have felt like I've been in for months, but actually sort of realising more recently that I think I was probably in a bit of an abeyance, for much of this year, and it's only now that the actual transition is starting to happen. And I do wonder if things are going to look very different in a year's time than they look now, which is in equal measure exciting and rather frightening. I am somebody that likes things to stay, likes things to stay the same. I know that's not a reasonable thing to think or to expect. This is where the flood was. This is as far as I could walk on Sunday. So nice and clear now. Easy enough to walk. This little stream here was just gushing, and I think probably, well, the river was so high it couldn't get in there, so it flooded along here. And there we are. Not today. So yes, someone who likes things very much as possible to stay the same, or to change slowly if they're going to change. But I wonder, actually, looking back at my life, whether change when it happens often is quite a sudden thing, and maybe I just need to embrace that. We will see. But things are changing. This morning I launched, I pressed the button to launch my Patreon offering. I'm not going to publicly launch it yet, because I want to add some posts to the Patreon page, but it did feel like a good thing. I've been thinking about it for months. I've been working on it for a couple of months now, but a couple of weeks ago I started to think about it differently after a conversation that I had with someone. Mayor, if you're watching, thank you so much. And yeah, I'm thinking about it differently, and so suddenly what I wanted to offer, what I wanted to say in the Patreon offering became clearer. Everything starts to fit together, which is very exciting. So maybe by next week's video, I can add a link and you can take a look and see if you feel able and willing to support me on Patreon. If you do, I'd be very grateful. But it's helped me crystallise my thinking around what I can do, what I want to do, and how much I need in return for doing it. So a bit of a shift, quite a big shift, I think, around that. It still feels like only a beginning, but it is a start, and it is a step. It's not a start. I started a long time ago. It's another step. Now, this week we are taking the shortest walk. The walk goes on down there, but today we're heading off down this track. It just takes us round in a circle back to where I parked. Oh gosh, it looks like it's been opened. That's been closed since the storm. The original storm, not the one at the weekend. All the ferns changing colour. Gosh, I hadn't seen that before. There's a small oak tree there that came down with a bigger tree. I think the last time I took you on this walk we went in the other direction, which is more normal actually. I quite like going the other way. There's a point at the very beginning when I walk in that direction that for a long time I used to take a photograph, and I have many photographs of the view, and it's lovely to watch it change. At times in the past I've walked here every day, and so that photograph, or taking that photograph in that spot, was a record of that. And the slow change that happens, I think it's very interesting to visit the same place again and again and again and get to know it. I think I probably was talking about that last week, and this is the place that I've been coming to again and again and again for many, many years now. So I do feel like I know it incredibly well, but still see new things or understand new things about it. And of course it changes. It's a slow change, apart from sudden changes that do happen, like that storm back in the spring that really did change it here very much, made it impossible to even be here for a while. Maybe life is about slow change and big changes, I suppose. But it's less easy, isn't it, unless we stop and take a snapshot like I do with that view, to actually see the slow change. And of course life is changing all the time, but it's the bigger changes, the shocks that we see and we feel. Yes. So perhaps it isn't one or the other. There's been lots of slow change. And I can see, actually, over the last year, the slow changes that have been happening, the gradual movements. But at certain points, it seems that there needs to be a bit of a shift. And that perhaps is just the process. And in some ways, a big sudden shift that's then over and done with will feel like a bit of a relief. And it's time to be somewhere new and to rest in that space and get used to that space. So if it needs to be a sudden change, I think I need to embrace that and let it happen, get into that place, that new place, find a place to rest within it and to recover within it, and then begin to live that new life. It's not going to be completely different, but I think there are going to be some quite significant changes, actually, and I think I'm willing to accept that now, and in some ways, actually, I'm quite looking forward to it. Some of the possibilities that seem to be appearing at the moment. I wonder if one of them will be that this isn't my default walking spot. I don't know. That would be interesting. Something I haven't even thought about until this moment, actually. Yeah. I shall talk more about some of the things that might be happening as the weeks go on. Yeah. Feeling reasonably okay about that today. Actually, even in my rather dopey and tired state. I love this bit of the walk. This is the bit of the walk that I often do the other direction at the beginning of the walk, and it's the bit of the woods I think that changes the most in the spring. This is where the bluebells are. So on the left of the video is where there's usually so many bluebells, and of course in the autumn now there's all the leaves on the ground, and in the winter the trees completely bare, which is fantastic. I've got a feeling there's someone walking in my direction, so I might stop in a moment and see you back at the studio for our work session a little later. In fact, probably, as with last week, I should be doing the work session tomorrow rather than today, spreading things out just a little bit. But, we're almost at the point where I used to take a daily photograph, so we shall get there. I shall turn around and show you the view that I would photograph, and then I shall leave you and head back home for a cup of tea. Well, actually I have got a flask cup of coffee in the car, so maybe I'll sit and drink that. I didn't drink it before the start of the walk, which I thought I might do. Here we are. So this tree trunk here, or this stump, is where I've stopped on many, many occasions, probably many hundreds of occasions, and I've taken this photograph. It's a lovely view. So there we are. I shall see you in a little while back at my studio, and we can have our 20-minute work session together. See you soon. It is definitely a hot day today and a heater day. I've got my heater on. It's a really chilly morning. I just posted on Instagram a photograph of a geranium from my garden. I think it must have been last week I mentioned in the walk part of the podcast that the geraniums on my table in the garden were budding, and there's one that's out, beautiful, dark, I don't know what colour it is actually, it's sort of a really dark dusty pink, I think. Really lovely to see that this morning, and quite remarkable actually. I've got a fuchsia out as well. Yeah, no doubt they'll work out that it's autumn soon as the temperature keeps dropping, and it really has dropped again this week. But still feeling nice and cosy, and I'm pleased to be here with you. Welcome to this week's 20-minute work session. I wonder what you're going to be working on this week. I'm still working on my blanket. Last week I said that I thought I might leave this blanket out here so that it's here and everything is here with it, because I think as of last week I kept forgetting my hook and leaving it out here. In the end I didn't. I took it in the house because I wanted to work on it in bed. It's a really nice size now, and with the weather being cooler, it's quite nice to have it sitting across my lap or across me if I'm sitting in bed, which I often am, working on it. So I didn't leave it out here, but I have been switching a bit between this and the purple socks that I'm making at the moment. I actually crocheted in public this week, which if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I was deliberating whether I could. I'd be able to crochet in public or not, and I did, not for very long. I was meeting a friend and she arrived not long after I'd started, so it was quite a good little icebreaker for me actually. I'm going to try again soon, I think. Now I've broken the what, I don't know. Now I've done it once, I'll be able to do it again, I think. There we go, 20 minutes on the clock. Good luck, as always, with whatever you're doing, and I'd love to hear, as always, what you're doing in the comments below. It was really interesting actually, just thinking about crocheting in public and doing it for the first time. I remember when I started to sketch in public, that felt like a huge thing. And this felt just as hard as that. And I wonder if in some ways it felt harder. I don't know. Partly perhaps, I wonder if it's the sort of gender thing around it. A man crocheting in public. But yeah, it felt okay. It felt fine. I was in a very friendly cafe, somewhere I go to regularly. Which helped. And I'd taken some crocheting with me there quite a few weeks ago now, to show the friend I was meeting. She wanted to see a sock, and I got it out. I wasn't working on it, but I just got it out to show her, and we were talking about it, and someone came over and was asking about it, which was nice. Though of course, that's the sort of thing, isn't it? I know sketching in public, I hate it if someone comes and asks me what I'm doing and wants to look at what I'm doing. Actually, I wonder if I'd mind less, actually, with the crocheting, if someone wanted to see what I was doing. I don't know, that's interesting. I wonder if I feel more comfortable crocheting than sketching. That's an interesting thing, and something perhaps to think about a bit at the moment, when things are changing so much. I actually ended up telling the mother of the baby that it's not the baby, this blanket, but it's her older son this blanket's for, but I told her this week that I'm making blankets for both him and his baby brother. She'd seen something on Instagram, so I thought I'd say, mostly because I felt like I hadn't really properly congratulated her on the new baby. But it does mean I feel a little bit more pressure now to get it done, which I'm trying to ignore because it doesn't help feeling pressure to get something finished. I don't really like promising anything in advance anymore. I'd much rather tell people I've done something, that I'm going to do something, because it's so easy to say, I want to do this or I'm going to do this. But the reality of doing it is so much bigger. So there's the pressure of doing what we say we'll do, but also there's the reality of it, which is often not at all what we think it's going to be. It's much bigger than what we think it's going to be. So I try not, as much as possible, to say in advance. But this week I did. At least I'm not at the beginning of this. It's not like I'm saying I'm going to buy some wool and make a blanket. I've actually, have made progress. But it's going to take a while. I've definitely slowed down a bit this week. I'm tired this week. More so than I have been for a while. So what are you working on, I wonder? I'd love to hear. I haven't this week replied to many of the comments from last week. I will get to them. But this week really has felt quite a difficult week in terms of energy and what I can do. Luckily, and mostly, I have quite a lot of space at the moment to rest, but my brain is the thing that's exhausting me, thinking about all sorts of things at the moment. Not really being able to switch off very well. I need to work on that next week. Well, I need to work on it now. I need to wait for next week to work on it. But as I was saying in the walk, it does feel like things are really starting to move at the moment. I was really pleased to get the Patreon page online and to be able to then learn a bit about how Patreon works and how to upload posts to Patreon. I have bit of a secret. I have been making some extra work sessions over the last few weeks. Midweek, I'm calling them midweek work sessions, and they're going to be available on Patreon. So if you enjoy these work sessions with me and you'd like another one in the middle of the week each week, then do take a look at my Patreon page once I publicly launch it, which I hope, if it's not next week, it'll be the week after. I'm getting nearer. I want to make a video to go on the page, and I want to spend a bit of time working out exactly how I want to say. I'm making notes as they occur to me, and I will. I'll know when it's the right time, and I'll record the video. And I think then after that, I shall start to spread the word about the page. It does feel very, very exciting to have done it, and to have. I feel like I've come quite a long way with it since I started the idea of having it. It's really made me think about what I'm able to do, what I want to do, and what I need in return, and to be able to ask for that. It's taken a while. But I feel quite happy with where I've ended up with it. So we'll just have to see what happens. I do feel a little nervous about putting it out there. That might be an understatement. I think when we launch things, it's very good to not be too attached to them, And I'm finding it a bit more difficult with this to not be attached to it, because it feels like I'm being really me. I feel like I'm putting myself out there in a way I've not done before. I mean, I've done it at different levels before. I mean, I don't think this isn't completely new, but it feels like a step, quite a big step. So if it doesn't work, and I've got sort of some reasonably clear ideas about what working means, then that is that's going to be interesting. But I'm ready for that. I think I'm ready for it to work too, and I sort of think it will, but yeah, you will see. Which seems to be my mantra at the moment. We will see. I have not done a huge amount of audiobook listening this week. I'm listening to the first of the Lady Hardcastle books, which I think I mentioned last week, sort of getting ready for the new one, which is coming out actually in a couple of days. I think 3 days time, I think, if I remember rightly. Yeah, so that's very exciting too. But I'm using it as my falling asleep book, as well as, you know, my listening when I'm awake book, which is, well, I know the story well, so it's not really a problem. But yeah, so I sometimes turn it back on and think, ooh, that's a bit of a jump. I don't know about you, but when I fall asleep, I don't know. I often don't know I've done it, and I can think, oh, I haven't been asleep. But it shows me with this audiobook that actually I fall asleep quite quickly, and I'm not really aware of it. So I sort of wake up and perhaps put it back on again for another 15 minutes, and I've moved on a lot further than I thought I had. Or I sleep through the night and turn it on in the morning, and yeah, again, don't know where I'm at. It's moved on a lot, so, but I'm enjoying it. It's good, and I think I might just carry on after this one and listen to the next one. I think I didn't realise, well, I think I've only got the first two as audiobooks. I think I've got the third one just as a book on my Kindle. But I do enjoy listening to them. They're well narrated. And I have also got, I think I mentioned last week, Amanda Palmer's The Art of Asking on the go, though I've listened to that a lot less this week than I thought I would. I wonder if it feels a little bit, or I feel a little bit raw around the stuff it's bringing up and not quite able to hear it all at the moment, because I suppose I'm asking at the moment. I mean, I know I will feel more able and actually want to listen to it, but yeah, I turned it on yesterday and turned it off again almost immediately, and just didn't even want to notice why I didn't really want to listen to it. But anyway, there we are. So I went back to the nice, comforting, A Quiet Life in the Country, which I suppose is what I'm living at the moment, or wanting to live at the moment. Escaping into a quiet life in the country. In fact, when I've been awake in the night, and I have quite a lot this week, I've been watching a property programme here in the UK called Escape to the Country. Yeah, at one night this week, and I ended up watching 3 of them because I was awake for so long. There we are. Maybe there's a message there somewhere for me. Oh, I think a quick sip of coffee. I've got some porridge it's slowly bubbling away, waiting for me in the house. So when I finish this, I'm going to go and have a bowl of porridge, and I think I'm going to have a hot buttered crumpet with it for my breakfast this morning. I thought that I would just come out here first thing this morning and have the work session, and then upload the video, which always takes a little while. I've edited together the first half of this week's podcast, so I just need, once this work session is uploaded, I just need to add that, and it'll be done. But that does mean that actually I haven't got very much that I need to do today for the rest of the day, which does feel very good. And I wonder if a little bit of a nap and a bit of a sit on the sofa is what I need today. I'm on my own today again here, which is good, I think. No car, no temptation to go anywhere, and just the opportunity to take things very slowly today. I wonder if I'm sort of trying to build up some reserves for what feels like a big change that may well be on the way. That sense that things are gathering pace around me, and I want to be as prepared as I can with that, and as careful as I can around it. I feel less enamoured by the idea of change today than I did when I was walking with you in the first half of the podcast. Just want things today. I feel like I just want things to be exactly the same forever. I don't know if I really think that, but yeah, I think I feel less equipped to cope with change today. Maybe that's just that, there's been enough so far. I mean, I think launching the Patreon page is quite a significant thing to have done. And I need to recognise that, celebrate that, but also rest with it having happened. End of a round. Now, negotiate yarn. In fact, I just take that over here. Yes, negotiate yarn and microphone cable. There we are. not bad progress today. I've almost finished this ball of wire. I think I've only got, I've got 2 more of this colour left, and I get to change colour. I've got a nice sort of burnt orange to use next. I'm quite looking forward to changing colour. I mean, that's a change I can cope with, a different colour. There we go. I hope you've had a good 20 minutes. I hope you've made some progress on whatever you're working on. As always, please do let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it the thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're not already subscribed, do hit that subscribe button. Or if you're watching this on the Go Gently website, the subscribe link below the video. And as always, if you want to receive email updates, if you look in the sidebar on the Go Gently website, there's a link there to subscribe to a regular email when I send out these podcasts. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. I really appreciate it. It is lovely to have your company. It really does feel like I have your company. I was really, as tired as I was this morning, I was really looking forward to coming out here and sitting doing some work with you. Yeah, it's been lovely. I shall see you again next week, and I shall look forward to that.